heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Excuse me.
Hmm.
Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness has appointed the office of rulers and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of men and women, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in these islands. Let thy blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote thy honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of these islands and those whose interest thou hast committed to our charge. On this we beg for Jesus Christ his sake. Amen. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all evermore. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Beal. Members, the House now is in session. Members, the minutes of the sitting from the 26th of May have been circulated. Are there any amendments required? There are none. The minutes will be printed as confirmed. Messages from the governor? There are none. Announcements from the speaker? We have received notice from Minister Adams that he will be absent today. Messengers from the Senate? There are none. Papers and other communications to the House? There are none. Petitions? There are none. Statements by ministers and junior ministers? There are none. Reports of committees? None. Question period? There are no questions this morning. Congratulatory and obituary speeches. Would any member wish to make a contribution at this time? There. MP King, you have your 3 minutes.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Speaker and members of this honorable House and the listening public. I just want to extend congratulations to Ralph Scott, the young man who's attending a prestigious university where he's a basketball star. He potentially has a career in, thank you, the whole House will be associated with it. I actually, at a seniors tea I held yesterday, had the pleasure of meeting the young man, extremely respectful and focused on doing his best for Bermuda and being a mentor as well. So congratulations goes out to the family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I also have condolences to the Darrell family of Bridal Hill in the passing of Mr. Clyde Darrell. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other member? Mr. Whip, you have your 3 minutes.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, it's with some sadness that I ask if for condolences to be sent to the family of Ms. Una Simmons of Spice Hill, Warwick. Ms. Simmons had been sick previously. She's in her 96th year and lived a very good life. And I would like condolences to be sent to her husband, Llewellyn Simmons, who is one of my best mentors in C26. Always has an interest in things that I do. So I ask condolences to be sent to him and the family. Thank you very much.
Yep. Any other member? MP Ming.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Welcome
Morning.
back as well. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. This morning I rise on my feet to just congratulate the 28 students from the Bermuda College that have been accepted to do an overseas work-study leave program. It's the first time that it's being offered outside of the UK, so it's been in a collaboration with the United Kingdom and Bermuda College. And 28 students from the Bermuda College will go and reside, I believe it's for 6 weeks in Belgium, Italy, and Cyprus. And it's an awesome opportunity, and they're extremely excited about being able to do so. So we wish them all the best. I hope that they take every opportunity available to them and they get much from it. I'd like to associate MP Fogo with these comments as well. No, do the whole house.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Does any other member wish to make a contribution? There are no other members. Thank you. We'll move on. Matters of privilege? There are none. Personal explanations? There are none. Notice of motions for the adjournment of the House on matters of urgent public importance? There are none. Introduction of bills? There's one bill to be introduced this morning by the Minister of Finance, Mr. Premier.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, and welcome back. Mr. Speaker, I'm introducing the following bill, which according to Section 36(3) of the Bermuda Constitution requires the governor's recommendation so that it may be placed in the order of paper for the next day meeting, and that is a Payroll Tax Amendment Act 2025.
Thank you. There are no other bills to be introduced this morning, and now takes us to the orders of the day. Mr. Premier, would you like to introduce and for the listening audience, today the first matter up is the Cabinet Office to be debated this morning, and Premier and Minister of Finance will lead that. Would you like to take us into committee now?
Sure, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now resume in Committee of Supply to consider the estimates of revenue and expenditure for fiscal year 2025-26.
Are there any objections? There are none. I'll call on Scott Pearman to chair the committee. MP Pearman, you're chair for the start of this session. Thank you, members.
Good morning, honorable members and members of the listening public. We are in the Committee of Supply for estimates of revenue and expenditure for budget year 2025-2026. And the first debate that we have up this morning is in relation to the budget for the Ministry of the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation. We will be in a 4-hour debate listening to heads 9, 13, 18, 32, 43, and 80. And this morning, presenting the debate initially will be the Honorable Premier and Minister of Finance, I believe. Yes. Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move that the following heads be taken under consideration. Head 9, the Cabinet Office. Head 13, the Post Office. Head 18, Libraries and Archives. Head 32, Department of Planning. Head 43, Department of Information and Digital Technologies. And Head 80, Project Management and Procurement.
Thank you, Honorable Premier and Minister of Finance. It has been moved that heads 9, 13, 18, 32, 43, and 80 be taken under consideration. Is there any objection? There's no objection. Please proceed when you're ready.
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, with your leave, of course, I will do head 9, and the Minister for the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation will do the remaining heads.
Thank you. Noted.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to present the budget for head 9, the Cabinet Office, found on pages B38 to B44 and C4, C9, and C17 of the estimates of revenue and expenditure for fiscal year 2025-26. Mr. Chair, the Ministry of the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation operates at the center of the public service, providing leadership and advice and guidance to ensure delivery of the government's policies and government services. This direction is supported by the budget tabled in this Honorable House and certainly under discussion today. I will move on to an expenditure overview and dealing specifically with head 9 rather than the entire ministry itself. With regards to head 9, a total of $13,834,000 for fiscal year 2025-26 has been allocated for head 9 and constitutes approximately 26% of the budget allocated for the ministry as a whole. This figure represents an increase of $1,663,000, or approximately 14% over the previous fiscal year's figure, due primarily to salary uplifts as negotiated with union partners and additional spending under the heading of, or the business unit, digital transformation. Moving to revenue. Mr. Chair, the revenue estimate for the subjective analysis of current account estimates for head 9 is found on page B41. The material difference is accounted for in the reduction of the estimated fees to be collected from petty fees, anticipating that most requests will fall outside the requirement to charge any fees at all. The subjective analysis of current account estimates for the Cabinet Office may be found on page B41. The main material difference in this year's budgets are due to salaries, professional services, and other expenses. Salaries for this head have increased due to the salary uplift noted earlier and the addition of funding for an overall 3 new posts in the Cabinet Office, which can be seen on page B41. The total increase in salaries is $629,000, which is a 9% increase over the previous fiscal year. Mr. Chair, other notable differences is the increase in professional services, which reflects the investment required to advance the Digital Transformation Team's initiative, which accounts for the increase of $1,064,000
Yes.
and represents a 39% increase over the previous year. For the sake of clarity, professional services within this cost center also fund essential roles and partnerships that bolster Bermuda's global presence and domestic operations. These includes the consultants that are staffing the Brussels and Washington office, special advisor for Middle Eastern affairs and Africa. Additionally, support services for the overseas office are covered, along with lobbyists in Washington, D.C., and the Global Health Platform Partner for the Wellness Initiative that is part of the Cabinet Office's Wellness Initiative for public officers as a whole, chairpersons for union negotiations with the Public Service Negotiating Team, and special contractors for the PATA and PIPA unit, and also international media engagement partners who work with the government on overseas public relations, specifically in the European Union and the United Kingdom. Mr. Chair, there is one notable material increase from the previous year's figures of $50,000 due to the funding allocated in 2024-25 for the Foreign Office Anniversary celebration of 5 years not required for this year's activities, which is noted on page B40 in the line item of the Brussels office. Moving to capital expenditure for this head can be found on page C4 of the budget book. And for capital development, it details $1 million, which are allocated for community clubs and community investments. Mr. Chair, this program is the renewal of a highly successful program which was commenced in 2019 to award grant funding to community clubs for capital development. It's important that honorable members are aware that this is separate and apart from the operational grants that may be awarded to clubs via the confiscated asset fund. These grants support facility upgrades and infrastructure improvements to our local community and sporting clubs. And just by way of information, the last time that this was done, over in excess of $1 million was given to a number of various community clubs around the island, which enabled a number of those which had not actually been able to reopen their particular facilities. And if honorable members have questions, happy to answer those questions when they come. It is important to note that all of these capital development grants are allocated based on submitted applications to ensure transparency and equitable distribution. The reintroduction of this program underscores this government's commitment to empowering community and our community clubs, making them more financially sustainable and necessary to assist on providing alternatives to antisocial behavior in our community. Moving to capital acquisitions can be found on page C9 of the budget book.
Yes.
And total $520,000, with $20,000 allocated for office furniture and equipment within the Cabinet Office, and $500,000 allocated for the Cooperative Food Supply Initiative. Mr. Chair, as part of our ongoing work to reduce the cost of living for Bermuda families, the government is advancing the Cooperative Food Initiative, an important step to introduce greater fairness and competition in the food supply sector for essential goods specifically. This year, the government is committed $500,000 in capital funding for the purchase of equipment and outfitting of the Cooperative Food Store to be located at the former Heron Bay Primary School site. This location has been identified as the best site readily convertible from the government assets to serve the community, and planning is already well advanced. To ensure this initiative is viable and sustainable, the government engaged a Big Four accounting firm whose independent assessment has confirmed the commercial soundness of this model. This budget allocation demonstrates more than just intent, Mr. Chairman. It is a tangible investment in an initiative that can provide real relief to working families for the cost of essential items. By supporting this direct supply food model, we can empower residents by introducing an alternative that prioritizes affordability and community benefit over profit. The government remains committed to doing all it can to ease the financial pressure on Bermudians, and this project represents an innovative approach to tackling one of the most persistent challenges facing Bermudians: high food prices. Lastly, Mr. Chair, I note that grants and contributions is found on page C17, shows an overall allocation of $78,000, which is the same as the previous year's fiscal allocation. with $50,000 for future leaders, which includes $25,000 for scholarships. Also captured in this category is a projected $25,000 for regional hurricane efforts. The Cabinet Office is a key partner and supporter of the Future Leaders Program, a youth-centric initiative, intensive 3-week summer program dedicated to empowering bright and passionate young Bermudians. It provides a unique blend of academic study, hands-on community engagement, and invaluable mentorship, fostering a deep understanding of critical social issues from inequality to leadership. The program's core aim is to equip these future leaders with the skills, knowledge, and confidence to drive positive change and contribute meaningfully to Bermuda's ongoing development. Continuing Bermuda's commitment to Regional Hurricane Relief Fund is a tangible demonstration of regional solidarity and strengthens Bermuda's ties with the wider Caribbean. Moving over to manpower. Mr. Chair, employee numbers can be found on page B42 of the budget book. And overall, there is a net increase of 3 employees more than the previous fiscal year, or a 6% increase in overall staffing. The overall staffing change results of decreases and increases across various business units. Business Unit 19000, General Administration, saw a reduction of 2 posts. A Senior Finance Officer moved to Business Unit 19040, and a Social Media Communications Officer. Conversely, additions included 1 Protocol Officer in Business Unit 19010, Protocol and Hospitality, 1 Administrative Officer in Business Unit 19015, Policy and Strategy, 2 employees in the London office, Business Unit 19035, and 1 Senior Finance Office in Business Unit 19040, which was moved from Unit 19000, as I just mentioned. Mr. Chair, I will now share more details of the business units with the estimates that can be found overall on page B40. And I will not take them in the order that they are seen on the page, but I will take them in the order of the business units themselves. So as you will see, I will bounce around a little bit, but there is a method to the order. Business Unit 19000, Administration, $7.07 million, an increase of $25,000. Mr. Chair, Business Unit 19000 Administration serves the central pillar for the strategic leadership and operational oversight of Bermuda's public service. This critical unit funds the Public Service Executive. As a note, all public service posts are actually funded under the Cabinet Office and are not funded in individual ministries. Funds the Public Service Executive, encompassing key leadership roles such as the Head of Public Service, Deputy Head of Public Service, and all permanent secretaries who are instrumental in driving ministerial objectives. Additionally, it supports the Cabinet Secretary, who serves the government's principal advisor on policy and provides essential strategic support to the Cabinet. The unit also covers the necessary administrative support staff, ensuring the proper functioning of the government's highest level and the effective delivery of public services. Business Unit 19010, Protocol and Official Hospitality, $785,000, an increase of $110,000. Mr. Chair, the Protocol and Official Hospitality function is essential for upholding the government's international reputation and ensuring the execution of official engagements. This unit acts as a facilitator of diplomatic protocol and official etiquette. The core responsibilities of this unit include advising government officials from the Premier to the Governor's Office on all matters of diplomatic conduct, such as precedents, forms of address, flag etiquette, and ceremonial gift exchanges, ensuring that Bermuda adheres to international standards. The unit manages the logistics and ceremonial aspects of official visits by foreign dignitaries, coordinating everything from their arrival and departure, their official meetings, accommodations, and cultural engagements. Additionally, Mr. Chair, the unit is crucial for the organization of ceremonial events. This unit serves as the vital liaison with foreign missions, facilitating the accreditation of diplomatic representatives in Bermuda and fostering ongoing relationships. Finally, the unit coordinates official welcomes for returning sports teams and other representatives. Mr. Chair, the unit's activities of the past fiscal year encompass significant events such as the arrival and swearing in of the new governor, the precise coordination of 2 throne speeches in combination with the legislature, and the annual cut match reception. On the international front, the unit assisted with the hosting of the Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee, which was a select committee of the UK House of Commons who visited Bermuda last year. And as you'll note, Mr. Chair, for the information of the shadow minister, I am covering the business units, but also in the covering of the business units, I will also cover some of the performance metrics, which can also be found on 2 subsequent pages inside of the budget book. Moving to business unit 19015, policy and strategy, which is a $907,000 budget, an increase of $241,000. Mr. Chair, the Policy and Strategy Unit, PSU, is central to delivering better policymaking across government. The PSU enhances the policymaking capability of senior officers by providing training, including those in the Executive Leadership Program. This support focuses on crafting and implementing public policy and includes workshops on advancing cabinet memoranda, emphasizing interministry coordination for a more joined up and effective government. The unit also offers strategic and technical guidance to the Cabinet Office, supporting the Public Service Executive in proper record keeping and tracking progress on public administrative policy initiatives. A key function of the PSU is serving as the information officer for the Cabinet Office, and this entails managing the strict legal obligations under the Public Access to Information Act 2010, which requires the processing and responding to patent requests within specific timeframes and annual reporting on the requests received. Last year, the PSU achieved significant milestones, as can be found in the budget book. And the performance measures, of course, on pages B43 and B44.
Yes.
They played a central role in developing and implementing the Public Service Strategic Plan 2024-27, comprehensive blueprint for modernize the public service with a focus on digital transformation and enhanced customer service. And I have spoken on that particular statement and initiative in the House. Furthermore, the PSU is at the forefront of the policy development in crucial areas such as the artificial intelligence policy, ensuring its ethical and responsible use within government operations. Specific achievements from the past year include the ensuring of the recording of public service executive meetings, successfully delivering training initiatives on cabinet memoranda, drafting and public policy development, providing comprehensive project support, including research and project management and report submission for the ministers and members of the legislature salary review, which was done last year, recording and tracking of throne speech and platform commitments, and also offering project support to the Ministry of Economy and Labor for the ongoing implementation items for the Economic Recovery Plan, which of course is now the Economic Development Strategy. These highlights underscore the unit's contribution to Bermuda's progress, and in the upcoming fiscal year, the Policy and Strategy Unit will continue to provide similar support for various government-wide initiatives, reinforcing strategic planning and execution across the public service. Moving on to Business Unit 19020, Safety and Health, $135,000, an increase of $2,000. Mr. Chair, the Safety and Health Business Unit within the Ministry of the Cabinet Office plays a critical role in safeguarding the well-being of all public officers and ensuring the operational safety of government facilities. Its core functions develop, implement, and monitor comprehensive occupational safety and health policies and programs across the entire public service. This unit provides value by creating a safer working environment, which in turn reduces workplace incidents, minimizes associated costs, such as lost time and medical expenses, and enhances the overall productivity and morale within government departments. Between April and August 2024, comprehensive safety and health audits were conducted across numerous government facilities, including Lyceum Preschool, Westgate, the Farm Facility, Warwick Clinic, Delwood Middle School, the Co-ed Facility, and several government administration buildings. These efforts extended to site reviews at correctional facilities and suspected sites impacted by mold, done in close coordination with the environmental health, with follow-up reports detailing corrective action plans. In respect to safety policies and programs, the government's new drug and alcohol policy was finalized, with procedures drafted and thoroughly reviewed in collaboration with the Department of Employee and Organizational Development, the government laboratory, the Department for National Drug Control, and the Bermuda Industrial Union. The initial phase of implementing this policy, including policy-specific Q&A sessions and integration with HR systems and training rollout planning by DoD, is now underway. Regular monthly safety communications were also sent to health and safety committees across government departments. Furthermore, Mr. Chair, let me move on. Mr. Chair, the Occupational Safety and Health Officer also reviewed contractor safety practices and risk protocols during live electrical works, ensuring adherence to the higher standards. These efforts directly contributed to an increase in compliance and training with the Occupational Safety and Health Officer training delivered to multiple departments covering topics such as introduction to occupational safety and health, workplace accident investigations, and health and safety committee duties. Guidance materials and safety orientation slides were also prepared for onboarding, and targeted support was provided to departments seeking assistance with health and safety engagements and compliance. Looking ahead to fiscal year 2025-26, the government plans to execute a comprehensive government-wide workplace safety audit across all ministries, excluding the Uniformed Service and the Judiciary. Additionally, centralized risk registry will be developed to track performance and regulatory compliance and expand the training curriculum to include crucial topics such as chemical safety and hazard communications, workplace violence and harassment prevention, and fire safety and emergency evacuation. Mr. Chair, another aim for the upcoming year is to launch an internal health and safety hub, which will feature a digital incident reporting platform to streamline safety alerts and corrective actions, and relaunch of the ministry level health and safety committees with refreshed teams, terms of reference, and accountability frameworks, a further testament to this government's commitment to a safe and healthy public service. Moving on to Business Unit 19035,
London office.
which is the London office, budget of $1.456 million, an increase of $221,000. Mr. Chair, the London office continues to drive forward Bermuda's relationship with the United Kingdom through the highest level dialogue with the UK government and by continued engagements with departments of His Majesty's government across Whitehall. The office continues to work in cohesion with governments of the overseas territories on shared policy areas and engaging collectively with both houses of the UK Parliament, the United Kingdom diplomatic corps, such as embassies and high commissions, the United Kingdom Overseas Territories Association, the Commonwealth Secretariat, along with all UK-based Commonwealth associations, the general UK public, including the private sector, UK-based civil societies, and those who have a general or vested interest in Bermuda, such as the Bermuda Society, and importantly, Bermudians living in the United Kingdom, including our students. Mr. Chair, the London office continues to provide the necessary immediate assistance and guidance throughout its consular function to Bermudians living and studying in the United Kingdom, throughout Europe, and on occasion, Bermudians in other parts of the world. The budget contains a new position for the London office of Deputy UK Representative to facilitate delivering investment opportunities by working with the relevant UK government departments and other key stakeholders in the United Kingdom as part of the government's economic diplomacy objectives. This new position will also allow a greater focus for the increased amount of complexity of consular cases. And just by way of example, this is going to be a reassignment, but the intention, of course, is to make this post permanent. And what is important to note, Mr. Chair, is that, of course, the UK can be very focused on titles, and having a consular officer is different than having a deputy director. And so this is viewed as a reassignment, an upgrade to the post, but which will be able to help in advance matters and to assist the excellent director, Ms. Kimberly Durant, who's been in the office for a long time, to take some of the weight off of her shoulders and to make sure that the office has better recognition when dealing with not just the top of the office, but other levels of the office. The London office will continue to offer placement opportunities for internships as well as summer students through partnership with the Department of Workforce Development, and that would be the additional creation of another intern post to support the work inside of the London office. Moving on to Business Unit 19040, which is Ministry Administration, $385,000, an increase of $118,000. Mr. Chair, Business Unit 19040, designated Ministry Administration, serves as the central operational hub for the Ministry of the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation. Its core responsibilities include directly supporting the Minister of the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation and coordinating all departments and units under the ministry's purview. The key departments and functioning falling within its strategic and operational oversight, of course, all the departments under the Minister for the Cabinet Office, which is Post Office, Libraries and Archives, Planning, Information Digital Technologies, Employee and Organization Development, and project management and procurement. As a note, communications falls under the office of the Premier. Moving to Business Unit 19045, Washington, D.C. office, $462,000, no change from the previous year. Mr. Chair, the Washington, D.C. office is mandated to cultivate essential relationships with both business and government stakeholders, championing Bermuda's financial services sector in the United States and engaging in constructive dialogue with U.S. government representatives to safeguard the island's economic interests. For fiscal year 2024-25, the D.C. office successfully met all of its key objectives, and those included engaging with vital contacts to inform U.S. officials of Bermuda's pivotal role as an international financial services center. The office also executed associated business development functions and provided guidance on navigating shifts within the United States administration while monitoring emerging U.S. policies impacting Bermuda, including those related to taxation, digital assets, financial services, and, of course, trade. Furthermore, it advised and managed on direct engagements by the Premier and ministers with their DC contacts, while also identifying opportunities to promote Bermuda's environmental initiatives. As a direct result of these efforts, the office was able to strengthen bipartisan relationships with U.S. lawmakers to safeguard Bermuda's interests and also to maintain Bermuda's visibility inside of Washington, D.C. The office successfully facilitated high-level engagements for myself and other ministers to Washington, D.C., and to Wyoming, coordinating meetings with members of Congress, federal agencies, and also business leaders. It also actively promoted Bermuda's financial services, digital asset, insurance, and reinsurance sectors with targeted efforts to attract family offices and high net worth individuals. Additionally, the office highlighted Bermuda as a premier destination for tourism and business through dedicated industry engagement and participating in U.S. conferences to showcase Bermuda's regulatory leadership and innovation-friendly digital asset framework. Lastly, the office effectively advocated against U.S. measures that could disrupt the island's shipping and trade flows, well advertised with the shipping fee proposal, which was put forward by the U.S. trade representatives. During the term, the office partially met some of its key performance measures, demonstrating considerable progress regarding the objective of engaging with U.S. organizations in the digital asset and fintech industries, and to host at least one conference in Bermuda. The office held in discussions with several digital asset conference organizers and assisted partners in facilitating the Digital Finance Forum, which was held early this month. Concerning the goal of securing 3 business leads regarding and meaningful engagement and progressing of domiciling companies in Bermuda, the office successfully drew the interest of 4 companies to begin the necessary actions to explore domiciling Bermuda. Finally, for creating and maintaining an up-to-date database of Bermuda college students residing in the United States, the office, in conjunction with the relevant ministries, developed the framework for Bermuda College Database with implementation sought for the upcoming fiscal term. Looking ahead to the 2025-26 fiscal year, the D.C. office's planned objectives are concentrated in 3 key areas: U.S. political and government engagement, business development, and the image and actions of the D.C. office. Specific performance measures set out in 2025-26 include engaging with U.S. organizers in the digital asset and fintech industry or in family offices that result in having at least one conference or event hosted in Bermuda. They also aim to secure 3 business leads resulting in meaningful engagements or progressing in domiciling companies in Bermuda. And finally, the office intends to finalize and implement and maintain an up-to-date database of Bermuda college students residing in the United States. Now moving on to Business Unit 19075, Brussels office, $343,000, a decrease of $50,000. Mr. Chair, the mandate of the Brussels office continues to be the maintenance of relationships with key stakeholders and decision makers in Brussels while establishing and maintaining connections. The objectives of the Brussels office for fiscal term 2024-25 remain as maintaining close dialogue with the European Commission, Council, and the European Parliament and other EU institutions, facilitating access of the Premier and other ministers to key persons and holding the government's presence in Europe, working in cohesion with the Ministry of Finance and the Bermuda Monetary Authority to support engagement with European Union institutions that are critical and important to maintaining Bermuda's position as a well-regarded international financial services center. And as I noted earlier in the brief, that decrease of $50,000 is related to the funding that was placed in the budget last year for the 5th year anniversary of the Brussels office, which is not in the budget for this year, as we are not having a 6th year anniversary celebration. Moving on to business unit 19080, head of the public service, $456,000, a decrease of $2,000. The Office of the Head of the Public Service holds direct responsibility for all internal operations within the public service. Its primary objective is to transform and modernize the service with a substantial focus on training and development, customer service, and maintaining standards of excellence. This office's comprehensive mandate covers the full spectrum of public service management. The unit spearheads government-wide reform initiatives such as the Public Service Strategic Plan 2024-27. It ensures that all ministries and departments adhere to the core values of being customer-centric and future-focused. Mr. Chair, a pivotal area of concentration is attracting and developing and retaining top talent within the public service. Over the past year, significant progress has been made in advancing the Reimagining Careers in Public Service initiative. This initiative addresses recruitment, retention, succession planning, and training needs. The launch of a public service career guide, accompanied by efforts by public officers acting as ambassadors to promote careers in the public service, raise awareness about the career guide, and generate interest in various training programs designed to attract trainees and apprentices to both technical and professional roles such as marine pilots, maritime controllers, engineers, and a variety of industrial posts, including plumbers and electricians. These initiatives are further bolstered through new formal learning agreements with signature schools and active participation in school career days and assemblies. And it's important to note that additional funding has been allocated, not necessarily inside of this ministry, but in other particular ministries to boost these apprenticeship programs. During the time of, I will call it austerity, some of these training programs were reduced, as we are finding the public service with a number of persons due to our demographic profile in the country approach retirement. It is important that we make the investments in the apprenticeships and trainees to get young persons in the public service so they can be at a space to, replace the retiring ferry pilots and to replace the retiring persons that have critical skills so they can actually learn from the persons that are doing these jobs prior to their retirement from the public service. Continuing on matters related to current public officers, considerable emphasis has been placed on developing capacity at the executive leadership and mid-management levels. Over 20 public officers involved in the leadership development program have benefited from exposure to executive coaching and advanced policy development protocols via participation in the United Arab Emirates Executive Leadership Program, which include both remote and in-person learning components, a program, of course, Mr. Chair, funded entirely by the United Arab Emirates government. At the supervisory level, a tailored supervisory training program was created and launched specifically for industrial employees to ensure that they possess the necessary skills and knowledge to grow professionally and transition smoothly into supervisory roles, which is something that was important with our partnership with the Bermuda Industrial Union. The interactions between the public service as an employer and its union partners have also been strengthened through collaborative engagement in joint training on interest-based bargaining techniques. This initiative included all union partners and successfully commenced the negotiations season. Joint negotiations resulted in a framework agreement for salary increases over a 4-year period across all unions, followed by individual negotiations with each union to address non-financial clauses of our 7 collective bargaining agreements, which is the current phase in progress. While standard cost of living increase has been awarded to ensure that government employees restore purchasing power, which had been eroded over the years owing to austerity measures and salary freezes, the work with the PricewaterhouseCoopers on the modernization of the public officer post-evaluation framework concluded with the delivery of an assessment on salary competitiveness when compared with market value based on similar positions in the private sector, and the delivery of a new job evaluation framework. Now, Mr. Chair, this is a massive undertaking that is actually looking at the review of all the particular roles and grading within the public service. The new competency-based model, which replaces the framework that has been in use in government for over 50 years, will assess a job's duties, responsibilities, required skills, and overall contribution to delivery of public services. Implementation planning to transition to this new job evaluation tool is in progress. It is expected that the new tool and the new grading model will provide opportunities to address issues that are related to recruiting into hard-to-fill roles and the retention of top public service talent. Now, of course, this is something I've discussed previously, Mr. Chair, but in certain roles inside of the public service, which are specialist roles, whether they be in compliance, whether they be in engineering, whether they be in healthcare, challenges with attracting, dentists into government, retaining engineers inside of government, and others needed to be addressed. Rather than looking at it in a piecemeal fashion, the government decided to take on board an entire review of the compensation structure for all public sector roles, and this encompass this sizable review, which will enable us to make sure that positions that have high value in the private sector can also be represented as high value in the public sector and not necessarily be constrained to the traditional salary bands, which we have been using, which are published in the budget book, which we have been using, as I said, for the last 50 years. Mr. Chair, increased efficiencies have been realized via operational changes to support recruitment. Managers have been trained to conduct their own recruitment efforts as opposed to being completely reliant on the resources at the Department of Employee and Organizational Development. And as we see more persons retiring from the public service, it is important that we continue to streamline the recruitment process to make sure that we are able to replace those persons who are retiring from the public service. Further steps have been taken to implement a more streamlined recruitment process and also complemented by planned amendments to the Public Service Commission regulations, which the government expects to be tabled in the legislature later during this session. Mr. Chair, it is understood that measuring feedback is essential for improving customer service. Therefore, the government website now features a customer feedback form, which is now also complemented by posters with QR codes, which are being rolled out to all government departments, providing quick access to the customer feedback form for persons who may visit government offices and may wish to record positive feedback or negative feedback. The data is analyzed to inform and identify problem areas requiring added resources or corrective actions to mitigate service issues and to ensure high quality and timely customer responses. While we're working towards meeting the response goals, plans include increased training in this area, and that is a focus of the public service plan to increase the customer service levels in the government. The initiatives outlined under this particular business unit demonstrate the government's commitment to fostering a modern, efficient, and responsive public service. By investing in our people, streamlining operations, and prioritizing taxpayer feedback, we are building a public service that is well equipped to meet the evolving needs of our country. Moving on to business unit 19085, which is the Patti Piper unit. $862,000, an increase of $23,000. Mr. Chair, business unit 19085, Patti Piper unit, there was continued achievement of the established measures and expenditures remain largely in line with last year's figures. The Patti Piper unit is responsible for both the Public Access to Information Act and the Personal Information Protection Act and the government's adherence to the requirements underneath those particular acts. For Patti, the unit continues to maintain and enhance the Patti Administrative Code of Practice, deliver targeted guidance to public authorities and departments, and provide comprehensive information officer training. During 2024-25, the unit coordinated the update of the legislation and regulations and implemented significant updates to administrative procedures. For Piper, the unit continued to develop the government's privacy program. This included delivering training, establishing documentation and templates, and advancing our international privacy recognition strategy. A key focus was coordinating readiness activities ahead of Piper coming into force on the 1st of January 2025. Additionally, legislative activities supported the transition of personal information requests from Patti to Piper and the harmonization of the Electronic Transaction Act with Piper. Mr. Chair, as the Honorable House is aware, the government's operations require interaction with the public and international partners involving information exchange through both traditional and digital channels. This reality underscores the importance of embedding information rights and privacy principles throughout our operations. Like the evolution of PADI, the government also promotes the premise that privacy protection is not a destination, but rather a continuing journey that requires ongoing attention and adaptation. As processes change and technology evolves, new privacy challenges emerge, and the government's privacy program will continuously mature. Through consistent application of privacy principles and regular program assessment, the government strengthens its ability to deliver services while protecting the right to privacy. Looking ahead to 25-26, the unit's priority activities will encompass refinement of their organizational structure to optimize service delivery, implementation of necessary legislative updates and compliance measures, development of strategic and operational frameworks to support PADI and PIPE requirements, continued enhancements of guidance materials and templates, ongoing support to public authorities in meeting their statutory obligations, strengthening the relationships with regulatory authorities, and expansion of training and awareness initiatives, and finally, enabling reciprocal recognition with comparable jurisdictions. With PIPA now being fully operational as of January 1st, 2025, its impact does extend across the entire jurisdiction. While the Privacy Commissioner provides overarching guidance, the unit works in collaboration with the regulator to establish international equivalence pursuits, elements that reach across the public and private sectors, and identification of certification mechanisms that may be used to demonstrate compliance. In today's interconnected digital economy, Bermuda's ability to participate in international data flows is essential for our jurisdiction's continued prosperity. Our business and government operations increasingly rely on cloud services and international data processing capabilities to deliver efficient and cost-effective services to our community. This unit plays a crucial role in enabling those operations by working to establish privacy equivalency arrangements with key international partners. Our efforts towards privacy and data protection, equivalence recognition, and participation in certification programs and engagement with various jurisdictions demonstrate the commitment that this government has to meeting international standards in this area, which is something that is important, certainly for our international business sector. The Office of the Privacy Commissioner has communicated guidance to help organizations assess and document transfer impacts, implement appropriate safeguards, and maintain compliance while leveraging modern technologies. This balanced approach ensures that Bermuda can benefit from global technological advances while maintaining the appropriate protection for personal information, regardless of where that information is kept and/or processed. Effective records management forms the Mr. Chair, effective records management forms the foundation of meaningful public access to information. During 2024-25, the unit undertook significant work to develop the PADI Records Management Code of Practice, which will provide comprehensive guidance on how public authorities should create, maintain, and preserve official records. This code is essential for ensuring that public records remain accessible, authentic, and reliable throughout their life cycle. The code looks to address challenges in digital record keeping, including requirements for managing information across cloud platforms and collaborative systems. And this unit has worked closely with archives, and the code of practice, the new code, provides detailed guidance on managing hybrid paper and digital environments, ensuring consistent handling of records regardless of formats. These improvements directly support government departments and public authorities in meeting their statutory obligations while promoting greater transparency and accountability in government operations. The effectiveness of PADI fundamentally depends on the government's ability to properly manage government records, and this revised code provides a framework needed to better support that goal. Mr. Chair, the unit remains committed to supporting Bermuda's position as a trusted jurisdiction for information handling while ensuring effective protection of privacy rights. And the work of this unit directly contributes to both our economic interests and the protection of individual rights. I think I'm now moving to the final business unit, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving to the final business unit, 19090, digital transformation, $975,000, a new allocation for this year. Mr. Chair, created in 2024, the digital transformation team is responsible for modernizing how public services are delivered in Bermuda. Its core mandate is to streamline, government operations through digitization, with a focus on improving service delivery and enhancing the residents' or taxpayers' experience with the government. The team leads the development of digital forms, supports departments in transitioning from manual to digital processes, and is implementing platforms such as the One-Stop Shop. The digital transformation team also plays a key role in piloting artificial intelligence tools such as chatbots and automated workflows to enhance responsiveness and to reduce administrative burdens. Working closely with client ministries, departments, the Department of Information and Digital Technologies, and other stakeholders, the digital transformation team ensures that digital initiatives are delivered in a secure and also scalable fashion across government to reduce duplication. Since its formation in the previous fiscal year, with funding allocated during the mid-year review, which is the reason why there is zero in the original estimate, but a allocation in the revised estimate, the team has made significant progress in digital service delivery. Key accomplishments include developing and launching over 30 digital forms and applications to streamline service delivery across a wide range of public-facing and internal government functions. These include critical services such as the Public Service Vehicle License and Accident Reporting at TCD, the Asthma Action Plan, the Financial Assistance Short-Term Relief Benefit. The team also built tools to support the public engagement and transparency, such as the Dog License Lookup, Bermuda National Hero Nomination Form, the Annual Occupational Safety Report. Internal government processes were also digitized, including the new Cabinet Memo System, privacy, registration, booking, and feedback form enhancements. These forms collectively support operational improvements while also laying the groundwork for integrated, paperless public service delivery. Continuing on to their accomplishments, launching of the One-Stop Shop, which is a centralized portal for offering citizens seamless access to government services via forms.gov.pm, where any honorable member or any member of the public can go online and see about the 80 different government functions that are able to be transacted with the government online. Upgrade and development of the social insurance site, which I did cover in my finance brief a few weeks ago, which is a digitized suite of forms, including real-time lookup tool for social insurance numbers, modernizing access to critical benefits, and of course, reducing calls to the department. Continuing on their accomplishments, rollout of the government payment portal, which enables secure online payments for government services. This includes the parking tickets application, which allows the public to pay fines online. Ongoing development of the SureLink chatbot, an AI-driven tool designed to support digital customer service and provide automated responses to common queries. Continue work on digital literacy and public service upskilling, ensuring that government employees are better equipped to use and manage digital tools. Moving on to funding, Mr. Chair, with the funding grants for fiscal year 2025-26, the digital transformation team will focus on, first, expanding the one-stop shop, adding new services, and integrating single sign-on solution to improve the user experience. Deploying the unified payment platform, which is consolidating fragmented payment methods into one secure integrated system that connects with the E1 financial system. Launching AI-driven service automation pilots and chatbot functionality to enhance customer service responsiveness, one that I got to trial and demo last evening. Very exciting. Launching AI-driven service automation and further digitizing forms and services with the goal of reducing manual processes and improving turnaround time for both internal and public-facing requests. Engaging a digital transformation strategic partner to support highly technical work, particularly for payment platform integration and advanced artificial intelligence implementations. The team will continue to work in close collaboration with client departments, IDT, and external partners to ensure that digital investments produce lasting value for the public and also the government. Mr. Chair, before I conclude, I wish to thank the public officers and staff within the Cabinet Office, led by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Major Mark Telemack, and also the Permanent Secretary for the Cabinet Office, Ms. Jeannie Nicolai. Serving in the Cabinet Office is a privilege, but also requires a tremendous amount of work. And no 2 days, not even Cabinet days, are the same. The team provides excellent support to myself as leader of the government, and I'm grateful for their dedication to the taxpayers of Bermuda. Mr. Chair, this concludes my presentation on the estimates for Head 9, the Cabinet Office, and I will now yield the floor to the Minister for the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation, who will cover the rest of the heads.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Minister, I think when you are ready, we're moving on to, is it the post office first? At 13.
Yes.
Thank you, Minister. Please proceed when ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I stand to present the 25-26 budget for Head 13. The Bermuda Post Office, as outlined in the budget book, pages B45 through B51. The Post Office is one of Bermuda's longest standing institutions, with over 2 centuries of uninterrupted public service, and is 100% Bermudian staffed. Today, even in the age of instant messaging and online platforms, it continues to serve 36,000 delivery points island-wide with dedication and professionalism. This year's budget reflects our commitment to both honor that legacy and modernize the service to meet today's needs. Mr. Chairman, the total allocation for the Bermuda Post Office in 2025-2026 is $10.13 million, as listed on pages B146 and B147 of the budget book.
I think it's actually just B46 and
B46.
Yeah.
This represents a $510,000 increase, or 5.3% over last year's original estimate of $9.62 million. The increase is primarily driven by salary adjustments in accordance with negotiated agreements effective the 1st of April 2025. Salaries and wages continue to represent the post office's largest expense, totaling $8.19 million, which accounts for 81% of the overall budget. Staffing levels remain steady with 125 full-time Bermudian employees. Mr. Chairman, the remaining 19% of the budget, covering day-to-day operations, includes several important areas with both strategic and service-related implications. Transport costs rise to $91,000, a 98% increase. This corrects last year's underestimation and accounts for international freight, covers security vendor expenses for screening and X-ray outbound mail at the airport to meet international standards. It includes import costs for fixtures and fittings. Equipment upgrades increased by 150% to $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
This allows for the replacement of depreciated furniture, fixtures, trays, mail racks, and tools that require upgrading. Training has increased by $25,000, encouraging staff to participate in more online and regional courses while ensuring our workforce remains current and capable in a rapidly evolving logistics environment. Professional services increased to $77,000, covering UPU and CPU membership dues, EMS co-op fees, and consultant support for upgrading the IPS system and conducting a customer service efficiency survey. Energy costs, including electricity and fuel, slightly decreased to $211,000, reflecting improved efficiency or stable rates. Repairs and maintenance rise to $548,000, which includes building upkeep, cleaning contracts, and security services. Rent for the mail processing center remains stable at $396,000. Materials and supplies hold steady at $224,000, covering stamps, paper, and office consumables. Communications stay flat at $70,000, supporting delivery tracking and customer notifications. Travel and regional participation doubles to $36,000, enabling engagement with regional postal bodies and trading events. Advertising and promotion decreases to $44,000, reflecting better targeted marketing efforts.
Mm-hmm.
Other expenses grew to $59,000, which includes costs for World Post Day events, staff retirements, office supplies, and transaction fees for debit and credit card processing. Mr. Chairman, the 2024-2025, a year of achievement and quiet excellence. This past year, the Bermuda Post Office was recertified with gold status for postal security and also earned gold certification in disaster risk management, both awarded by the Universal Postal Union, UPU, following independent audits by international experts. In terms of delivery, performance remained high. 98% of all letter mail was delivered within 4 working days. 99% of customers were notified within 2 working days of international items arriving. These figures speak volumes, especially when paired with the remarkably low number of complaints. Just 9 formal and 5 informal complaints across the entire year. Mr. Chairman, this level of satisfaction is a credit to the hardworking, fully Bermudian staff who keep this service going day in, day out across our 7 delivery offices and sub-post offices in Mangrove Bay, Southampton, Warwick, Devonshire, Flats, Crawl, and St. George's. And Mr. Chairman, a particular point of pride is that Bermuda's Postmaster General now serves as the Secretary General of the Caribbean Postal Union, a recognition of our leadership in the region. Mr. Chairman, looking ahead for the priorities of 2025-2026, the upcoming year will focus on modernization and sustainability, upgrading operational tools and equipment to improve efficiency, enhancing customers' experience via the BermudaPost.bm platform, including tracking, mail forwarding, and retail purchases, expanding access to training and online courses with support from UPU and regional partners, continuing to meet our universal service obligations even as traditional letter mail declines by approximately 7% annually. This isn't merely about logistics, it's about creating a postal service that stays accessible, affordable, and resilient, even in a changing communications landscape. In closing, Mr. Chairman, the Bermuda Post Office continues to do what it's always done, serve the people with consistency, care, and quiet excellence. This budget supports that mission, balances fiscal responsibility with forward planning, and ensures the Post Office remains a vital public service, not just for today, but for generations to come. Mr. Chair, this concludes my comments on the head for Post Office. Is that right? Head 13 for Post Office. I'll now proceed to Head 18, Libraries and Archives.
Thank you, Minister. Please proceed. This is B52.
There we go. Mr. Chairman, it gives me great pleasure to present the 2025-26 budget for Head 18, the Department of Libraries and Archives, found on pages B52 to B56 of the Estimates and Revenue Expenditure book. The mission of this department is clear: to facilitate access to information for research, inspiration, lifelong learning, and recreation. And that mission is as relevant today as ever. Mr. Chairman, for the fiscal year, the budget has been allocated $3.393 million, an increase of $146,000 or 4% over the previous year. This represents 6.3% of the ministry's total budget. The increase is primarily driven by negotiated salary uplifts and a targeted reallocation of funds to strengthen key service areas. Mr. Chairman, let's now turn to how those funds are distributed across the department's 6 core services. Collection management, $434,000. Boosted to support the digitization of local publications and the preservation of work. The FTEs for this remains at 3. Adult services, $623,000, up 16%. Reflects salary increases and a new staff position, bringing the FTEs to 6. Archival services, $341,000, up 2%. Modest increase to support salary adjustments. FTEs remain at 3. Youth services, $478,000, covers mandated salary increases, and the FTEs stand at 4. Records management services, $844,000, supports Government Records Center in St. David's. FTEs remain at 4. And administration, $672,000, down 2%. This decrease reflects a reallocation to support staffing and adult services. FTEs remain at 4.
Thank you, Minister. And for the benefit of the listening public, FTEs are full-time equivalent
Full-time
employees.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. In total, the department operates with 24 full-time Bermudian employees, an increase of 1 over last year. Mr. Chairman, revenue remains modest. Just $8,000 is projected, reflecting the 7th month closure of the youth library. On the capital side, the department will receive $5,000 for the purchase of new computers. For comparison, last year's capital allocation was $129,000, which funded a new fire alarm system for the Bermuda Record Center and new bookshelves at the youth library. Mr. Chairman, key shifts in the operational budget include salaries increased due to permanent appointments and negotiated uplifts. Wages decreased as temporary staff transitioned into permanent roles. Transportation and communications funding increased, driven by higher trucking and phone costs. Professional services rose to support digitization initiatives. Rentals and repairs dropped. The planned internet center did not move forward. Energy costs fell due to improved lighting and reduced AC use. And materials and supplies rose to support book acquisition and digitization. Mr. Chairman, collection management digitized 5 years of the Royal Gazette ahead of schedule and under budget, cataloged 90% of new books within 30 days, and processed all 36 ISBN requests from local publishers within 2 days. Adult services engaged roughly 20% of Bermuda's population as active members, delivered well-attended lunch and learn programs, and received consistently high satisfaction in in-house surveys. Archival services focused on expanding digitization capacity with new high-resolution imaging equipment. Staff trained with British Library experts at the University of West Indies in Jamaica. Youth services have served 60% of Bermuda's under 15 population. The performance slipped due to a 7th-month closure for renovations. However, the youth library reopened to the public on April 8, 2025 with a newly refreshed space. Records management continued supporting all government departments in compliant records retention and storage. And administration managed increasing challenges at the main library concerning security incidents, which rose from 53 to 60. The police were called 25 times, and one incident led to a prosecution. Now, looking at the year ahead, Mr. Chairman, the department will advance several key initiatives. They will launch a new website to improve public access and user experience, continue to digitize the Royal Gazette covering 1979 to 1983, finish setting up the new digitization studio at the archives for online access to documents and images, and expand public services by installing a new digital microfilm reader, increasing available public use computers, introducing e-readers for seniors, expanding large print fiction collection, formalizing home and outreach deliverable schedules. So, Mr. Chairman, the department delivers extraordinary value by connecting citizens to information and democracy, preserving our heritage, bridging the digital divide, supporting childhood literacy and adult learning, providing secure and accessible public records. This is not just a place for books and records. It is a vital part of Bermuda's social fabric, cultural memory, and public service mission. So in closing, Mr. Chairman, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated staff headed by Director Ms. Joanne Brangman for their unwavering commitment to serving the public with professionalism and care. With this budget, we continue to invest in learning, culture, access, and community. Head 18, Libraries and Archives, remains a small but mighty contributor to Bermuda's future.
Thank you, Minister. And just for the benefit of the listening public, the performance measures you just identified were at B55 and B56, and the capital acquisition you discussed for the libraries was at C9.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please proceed. Is your next head going to be Department of Planning?
Yes.
Okay.
I've now concluded Head 18, and I'll move to
I'm jumping ahead out of excitement.
I'll move to Head 32, Department of Planning. Don't get too excited. I'm not going to keep you long. Not as long as some people would like for me to keep them. Mr. Chairman, it gives me great pleasure to present the budget for Head 32, Department of Planning, found on pages B57 and B61. The department's mission is straightforward and significant: to ensure the sustainable management of Bermuda's natural and built environment. Mr. Chairman, turning to page B58, for the fiscal year 25-26, the department has been allocated $4.049 million, an increase of $211,000, driven mainly by government-wide salary increases. You see a recurring theme there. Revenue outlook. Mr. Chairman, turning to page B59, the department expects to generate $1.936 million in revenue, a 14% increase over last year. This growth is driven by robust development activity across the residential, tourism, and commercial sectors. Residential, tourism, and office development continues to be healthy, particularly with the high-end sector, as evidenced by numerous applications for new residences, new blocks providing additional tourist units at Grotto Bay, and the Brookfield development on Front Street in the city of Hamilton. Mr. Chairman, revenue changes include planning application fees at $550,000, reflecting caution in some segments because it's down from what we had last year. Building permit fees up $110,000 to $710,000, tied to sustained demand. Planning searches up $84,000 to $234,000, driven by strong retail estate market. And elevator licenses up $150,000 to $350,000, linked to high compliance and inspection demand. I now move on to subjective analysis. Mr. Chairman, subjective analysis of current account estimates of the department is found on page B58. Salaries increased by $96,000 to $3.447 million. Rentals increased by $43,000 due to the office move to 44 Church Street. Repairs and maintenance increased by $69,000, mostly for software and systems related to the new offices. Staffing and recruitment. Mr. Chairman, staffing challenges have impacted service delivery. Retirements and vacancies, including in enforcement and inspections, left several units under-resourced. However, the department has responded decisively. They have recruited a new administrative officer, electrical inspector, enforcement officer, management accountant, and manager of administration during the last fiscal year, all of whom are Bermudian. Promoted internally to fill senior roles. Was successful in its nomination of a Bermudian student who received a bursary award for the last fiscal year, targeted to the post of assistant planner, to whom the department has provided and will continue to provide work experience to aid in his development. Supports the youth employment program of the Department of Workforce Development. The department will be providing work experience to a further 3 young Bermudians during this summer. In addition, the Department of Planning has featured at numerous school career days to promote planning as a profession to students, and maintains just 4 work permit holders. Performances measures by business unit. Mr. Chairman, the department has faced public frustration, particularly around delays in permits and application processing. These concerns are real and are not being ignored. In the coming weeks, I will be announcing initiatives either in train or under consideration to address the frustrations faced by both the Department of Planning and the public they serve. Business Unit 42050 Enforcement, page B60. This business unit is responsible for investigating claims of breaches of planning control, seeking remedies for unauthorized development, and carrying out planning searches. In the past fiscal year, they processed 353 planning searches, an increase of 79, issued 11 civil penalties totaling $275,000. 80% of enforcement complaints were responded to within 2 weeks, below the 100% target. The department has adjusted its goal to 90% for the upcoming fiscal year. 29 enforcement cases were opened last year. Performance was impacted by staffing shortages, including a retirement and temporary reassignment, but with a new officer hired and the team now fully staffed, improvement is expected in 25-26. Business Unit 42060 Forward Planning, page B160. This business unit is responsible for the preparation of development plans and associated policies and guidance, including collating evidence through technical studies and surveys. For the fiscal year 24-25, the department can report the following. The City of Hamilton Plan 2024, which we debated last week in this honorable house, was completed with no objections, a milestone achievement. And as debated in these chambers a week ago, this plan marks a shift from rigid controls to principle-based planning, encouraging investment and design flexibility. Business Unit 42070, Development Management, page B61. This business unit is responsible for processing planning and subdivision applications in accordance with the provisions of the relevant development plan and providing pre-consultation advice on development proposals. Highlights for 2024-25 are as follows. Processed 362 planning applications, nearly identical to last year. 61% were completed within 12 weeks, below the 80% target. Staffing shortages and an increased workload contributed to this issue, but targeted recruitment and reassignments are addressing the problem. Most planning applications continue to be for residential development, with a noticeable trend towards applications for creating additional units through internal conversions and the installation of solar panels. Notable projects include the Grotto Bay development, the North Arm in Dockyard, the replacement of the Belvedere building on Pitts Bay Road, and the proposed 96-key hotel at 11 Victoria Street, which was granted on appeal. Significant pre-consultation for tourism development has been conducted at the St. Regis Bermuda Resort and regarding the redevelopment of the Elbow Beach Hotel. Business Unit 42080, building permits, page B61. Everybody wants to know about building permits. This building unit is responsible for reviewing applications for building permits to ensure compliance with the building code, guaranteeing safe construction, and protecting public welfare and well-being. For the fiscal year 2024-25, the department can report the following. It received 799 building permit applications and 456 permit revision applications. It issued 551 building permits and 368 permit revisions. These permits represented 21% commercial, 24% residential, and 55% minor works. Notable projects that received building permits in the past year: Southampton Princess Beach Club, a multi-story mixed-use development on Pitts Bay Road, the Brookfield Building, and further tourism development at Nautilus Azure and Grotto Bay. Business Unit 42090, inspections, page B61. This business unit is responsible for ensuring standards of construction in accordance with approved building permits and the relevant provisions of the building code. For the fiscal year 2024-2025, the department can report the following. It conducted over 6,395 inspections, including 504 elevators, 1,780 electrical, and 4,183 building related. 664 commencement inspections indicate strong project starts. And for the listening public, commencement inspection is when planning comes out and says you can start building. Plans for the year ahead. Mr. Chairman, the department has a full slate of reforms and initiatives, including new general development orders to reduce red tape and allow some changes of use without planning approval. Updated building code to raise construction standards and sustainability, streamlining processes via better internal systems and more engagement with industry stakeholders, launch of a digital platform to match underutilized land with prospective farmers, promoting local food production and land use efficiency, vacant and derelict property database to encourage private investment in idle housing stock, review of the listed building register to ensure that it is transparent, current, and fair, and policy research programs underway, focusing on housing, tourism, industrial land, and vacancy rates, forming the evidence base for the new island-wide development plan. Mr. Chairman, the Department of Planning is taking action. We are recruiting, reforming, digitizing, and collaborating. This year's budget supports that work, and it supports our broader goal, a planning system that is efficient, effective, and responsive to both the needs of the developer and the rights of our residents. To the Director, Victoria Cordero, and her team, thank you for navigating the complexity with care and commitment. I look forward to sharing the progress that lies ahead. This concludes my comments on Head 32, Department of Planning, and I'll now proceed to Head 43, Information and Digital Technology.
Thank you, Minister. So if we pause just for a second there, we are in the Committee of Supply for Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure for budget year 2025-2026. This is a 4-hour debate, and we have covered the first 6 heads. So we've covered the first 4 heads, and we're moving on to the 5th of 6 heads, which is Information and Digital Technologies. We are hearing from the Honorable Diala Rebane, who is the Minister of Cabinet Office of Digital Innovation, who is now going to present Head 43, which can be found at B62 of the budget book. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I know it sounds funny, but it's Minister for the Cabinet Office.
Well,
Don't know why.
I stand corrected. Minister for the Cabinet Office and Digital Intervention.
Not
as
sure
opposed to
why
against.
why they say why.
Did I
should
say
that
of?
change
I
today?
said
yeah.
of.
Everybody
Okay.
says of.
There we go.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to present the 2025-2026 budget for Head 43, Department of Information and Digital Technologies, better known as IDT, as outlined on pages B62 and B65 of the budget book. IDT functions as the central nervous system of the government, enabling everything from frontline public services to internal operations. The public rightly expects these systems to be reliable, secure, and resilient at all times. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, meeting these expectations requires more than maintenance. It demands strategic investment, modern infrastructure, and forward-thinking leadership. This budget reflects that commitment, a deliberate shift towards stronger protection, smarter systems, and a government built for the future. Mr. Chairman, the Department of Information and Digital Technologies has been allocated a total operating budget of $9.211 million for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, as shown on page B62. This represents an increase of $706,000 over the previous year's budget of $8.505 million. Mr. Chairman, the subjective analysis of the current accounts for the Department of Information and Digital Technologies can be found on page B63. While the majority of new investment is reflected in capital expenditures, there are also key changes within the department's current account, particularly across three areas of strategic importance. Communications, $1.757 million increased by $242,000. This increase supports the expansion of the network data lines, ensuring sufficient bandwidth and infrastructure to meet the demands of a growing and digitally dependent government. Rentals, $842,000 increased by $182,000. This reflects the cost of relocating the department to new premises with updated facilities better suited to IDT's operational needs. And salaries at $3.447 million increased by $162,000. This covers government-wide salary uplifts and funds the filling of a critical security analyst position, reinforcing our commitment to cybersecurity and digital service protection. Mr. Chairman, the capital allocations for the Department of Information and Digital Technologies for 2025-2026 is $6.525 million, representing an increase, a 12% increase over the previous year. And if you could assist me with the page number there. I don't see it. I know it's in C somewhere.
C2, I think, but I will double check while you're
Thank
going.
you.
Please proceed.
These funds are not merely investment in technology. They represent strategic steps towards a more resilient and efficient and responsive government. As part of its ongoing commitment to digital transformation and secure service delivery, IDT will continue investing in modernizing the network infrastructure and enhancing cybersecurity capabilities. These-
C9 it is.
C9. Thank you.
Minister. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These strategic initiatives are crucial for enabling a resilient, efficient, and data-driven government. Mr. Chairman, while some budget lines show reduced allocations, I want to be clear. These are not merely cutbacks, they are recalibrations. They reflect areas where previous investments have delivered, allowing us to redirect resources towards more urgent and transformational priorities. Key areas of capital investment include network upgrades, $2.5 million, replacing legacy network switches and upgrading infrastructure at Global House, implementing modern network monitoring tools, firewall enhancements, and unified communication systems, improving Wi-Fi reliability and connectivity across key facilities, cybersecurity and risk management, $930,000, enhancing endpoint protection and real-time threat detection, supporting continuous monitoring, software licensing, and third-party penetration testing, strengthening government's overall security posture. Government portals and digital accessibility, $505,000. Improving access to public services through a more integrated and user-friendly platform, supporting transparency, engagement, and efficiency. E-government initiatives, $545,000. Focused on data centralization, performance analytics, and smarter governance. Reduced slightly to reflect consolidation with broader data infrastructure work. Disaster recovery continuity. I-Series systems, $295,000. Following a major refresh last year, this year's focus shifts to fine-tuning disaster recovery environments. Wintel systems, $950,000, supporting secure cloud transitions and identity management and continuity testing. Innovation and hardware life cycles. Development projects, $400,000, sustaining innovation while streamlining focus on core initiatives. Infrastructure computers, $400,000, reflects recent hardware modernization and more efficient procurement planning. Data infrastructure, establishing a centralized government data lake to power business intelligence, support evidence-based policy, and foster greater transparency and innovation across public service. Mr. Chairman, these investments mark a shift from reactive management to proactive transformation. They will strengthen our digital foundation, protect public assets, and enhance service delivery across every corner of government. Workforce and recruitment, found on page B63. Mr. Chairman, staffing stands at 50 FTEs, full-time equivalent employees, up by 1. But we have 10 funded vacancies, and filling them is essential. To that end, IDT has been working with DoD on recruitment. These include a chief systems engineer, security manager, network engineer, 4 systems engineers, security analysts, support analysts, and operations analysts. While addressing recruitment challenges head-on, we are addressing recruitment challenges head-on through a new apprenticeship program, building a pipeline of young Bermudians, IT professionals, to not just meet IDT's needs, but also Bermuda's digital future. And Mr. Chairman, I did do a ministerial statement on IDT's apprenticeship program last week.
Yes.
Output measures, page B64 and B65.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I will state up front that not all service targets were met. The team worked under pressure to manage a post-attack backlog while pushing forward critical upgrades. Performances this year: Business Unit 53030 device support. 70% of tickets resolved within targets, below the 90% goal, but improving. Business Unit 53035 network support met 75%, target rising to 85% this year. Business Unit 53040 service support held steady at 25% first call resolution. Business Unit 53060 business system support achieved 70% of the monthly review meetings, target now 90%. Business Unit 53090 security delivered on 100% goal, a critical win. Projects in 2024-2025. Mr. Chairman, despite challenges, IDT made real strides. Microsoft 365 was deployed government-wide for more secure collaborative work. Infrastructure renewal underway. Improving system speed, uptime, and resilience. Network hardware replaced at critical sites, including the airport and government administration building. Unified communications project completed at 95%, streamlining systems and lowering costs, and the I-Series refresh completed, ensuring our core financial systems remain stable and secure. And now I turn my attention to plans for the upcoming year. Mr. Chairman, IDT's 2025 business plan will focus on 3 pillars. 1, strengthening cybersecurity, disaster recovery, and incident response. IDT's top priority is protecting government systems, data, and users through a proactive, layered cybersecurity approach. Key initiatives include advanced endpoint protection, state-of-the-art tools to secure all government-connected devices, 24/7 threat monitoring, constant surveillance to detect and respond to suspicious activity in real time, vulnerability assessments and penetration testing, regular system reviews to identify and fix weaknesses before they are exploited, email threat detection, intelligent solutions to prevent phishing and email-borne attacks, cyber awareness training, educating public officers to serve as the first line of defense, and updated disaster recovery and incident response plans, ensuring business continuity and fast recovering during disruptions. Number 2, delivering high-performance, scalable, and resilient IT infrastructure. To support the government's growth and service expectations, IDT is modernizing its core infrastructure with a focus on speed, stability, and long-term reliability. Planned efforts include replacing legacy hardware, phasing out outdated systems to reduce failure risk and increasing performance, application consolidation, eliminating redundant software to streamline processes and lower costs, rewiring Global House, a critical upgrade to boost connectivity and improve network stability and prepare for future needs. 3, supporting data-driven decision-making. IDT is investing in tools that enable departments to transform data into insights and actionable outcomes. Key outcomes targeted are real-time operational insights for faster and smarter responses, identifying trends and opportunities to inform long-term planning, and evidence-based decision across government. This will be enabled by user-friendly dashboards and clear, comprehensive reporting tools to empower every department to measure, manage, and improve performance. Mr. Chairman, IDT is simply not reacting to a crisis. They are using it as a catalyst for transformation. This budget represents a strategic shift away from patchwork fixes towards a coherent, protected, and people-centered digital government. To Acting CIO Gina Benjamin and the IDT team, I thank you. Your resolve in facing the unprecedented challenges has kept the government running and allowed us to rebuild stronger. With this budget, we just don't recover, we leap forward. This concludes my comments on Head 43, Information and Digital Technology, and I'll proceed, with your permission, of course, Mr. Chairman, to Head 80, Project Management and Procurement.
Thank you. And that, for those listening, is at B75 of the budget book. Minister, you have the floor.
Oh, we're smoking, aren't we?
We are smoking.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to present the budget for Head 80, the Office of Project Management and Procurement, as found on pages B75 to B77 of the Estimates and Revenue and Expenditure book. The mission of this office is straightforward yet essential: to provide oversight, guidance in project management and procurement, ensuring transparency, value for money, and accountability across the government. Mr. Chairman, the total expenditure listed on B75 is budgeted at $925,000, representing an increase of $51,000 over last year. The subjective analysis can be found on page B76 and reflects the following as a result of the $51,000 budget increase. Salary uplifts by way of an increase of $44,000. Travel increased by $1,000 for essential overseas training. Rentals increased by $2,000, and materials and supplies increased by $3,000. Mr. Chairman, capital allocation currently stands at $65,000, representing an increase of $43,000 from last year. These details can be found on page C10. This funding will support essential software applications and services that enhance digital tools and procurement platforms. Mr. Chairman, the Office of Project Management and Procurement comprises of 8 full-time staff, 4 Bermudians, 1 spouse of a Bermudian, and 2 non-Bermudians. 1 post is currently vacant, contract and compliance manager, and will be recruited this year to strengthen oversight and capacity. I now turn my attention to performance measures for 24-25,
Yes.
located on page B77.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to report that the office's performance measures for the fiscal year 2024-2025 were achieved. Business Unit 9000 Administration Unit produced and submitted all quarterly waiver reports to Cabinet on time. Completed 95% of Cabinet memoranda reviews within 5 business days. Published the 2024 annual report. Managed HR and budgets efficiently. Deployed affordable digital tools like RFX, Drafter, and Bonfire to improve service deliveries. Business Unit 90005 Procurement Unit delivered 8 training sessions, 6 virtual and 2 in-person, to 106 public officers. Optimized costs by leveraging virtual platforms. Demonstrated strong value for money and increased training access across government. Business Unit 90010
Pausing
Project.
you there, Minister. The budget book says 5 sessions, but that should be 8 sessions, should it? One or the other.
One or the other.
Okay. Please continue.
Business Unit 90010 Project Management Unit conducted 6 half-day sessions, in-person training sessions for 22 middle and senior level public officers. Training using hybrid methodologies based on Prince2 and PMI best practices. Customized sessions ensured relevance and high impact for project execution. Business Unit 90015, Contract and Compliance, unable to deliver standalone training due to staffing constraints. However, integrated contract and compliance content into Code of Practice training with the procurement unit. And Mr. Chairman, the Code of Practice for Project Management and Procurement is currently under review, and a revised third edition will be released shortly, accompanied by targeted training and communication. Mr. Chairman, in the upcoming fiscal year, the office will continue to produce quarterly waiver reports for the Minister and Cabinet and aims to complete Cabinet memoranda compliance reviews within 5 business days, targeting a 95% on-time completion rate. In partnership with the Department of Employee Organizational Development, the office will deliver 5 training sessions on the introduction to the Code of Practice and 4 project management training sessions alongside specialized learning initiatives such as planning projects for success and negotiation. To further build procurement capacity, the office will pilot a public procurement training program in collaboration with the US-based National Institute of Government Procurement, with the goal of developing a syllabus that equips authorized public officers with foundational procurement skills and techniques. Additionally, the office will publish its 2025 annual report in due course. Mr. Chairman, the office has aligned its future priorities with the Public Service Strategic Plan 2024 to 2027 and Bermuda's broader commitment to good governance. This year, the work will center around 5 pillars. 1, acting strategically. OPMP will continue to lead as the central authority for government capital projects and procurement, ensuring alignment with national priorities and efficient resource use. Human capital development, design and deliver training to strengthen public officers' skills in project management, procurement, and purchasing. Policy implementation, roll out new updated policies, guidelines, and supporting notes to streamline operations and improve consistency. Strategic sourcing and business opportunities. Guide ministries in sourcing strategies, explore cross-sector procurement opportunities, and implement framework agreements and vetted contractor lists. Compliance and contract management. Build a robust monitoring framework to improve oversight of contract administration and enforce sound management and practices across departments. Being customer-centric. OPMP is focused on delivering fair, transparent, and value-driven services tailored to the needs of government clients and the public. Practical, accessible training to develop flexible, real-world training on project management and procurement available through multiple learning formats. Contract management learning modules will introduce a dedicated module to deepen officers' understanding of contract management and improve outcomes. And specialized training, project training, we'll launch new training tracks targeting the unique demands of IT and construction-related procurement and project delivery. Putting people first. OPMP will embed transparency, fairness, and professional growth at the heart of its work by supporting all public officers involved in procurement and project oversight. Code of Practice awareness, ensuring each public officer is well informed about the Code of Practice and their specific responsibilities under it. Professional development, deliver training guided by stakeholder feedback and promote careers in procurement, project management, and compliance through outreach and education initiatives. Effecting digital transformation. The office is embracing technology to improve operational efficiency and transparency and accessibility to its core services. The digital platform transformation to migrate to a secure cloud-based procurement platform to better manage sensitive data and improve accessibility. A digital case management, exploring digital tools to track and manage internal office operations and client services, and e-learning integration, embedding e-learning into procurement training offerings to expand access and flexibility for public officers. Delivering excellence. OPMP is committed to high-quality results, better collaboration, and smarter procurement to deliver meaningful value to the government and the public. Optimize practices and performances to develop collaborative models and performance metrics to drive quality and efficiency in project and procurement processes. Quality assurance and compliance so we can implement best practices aligned with international standards, ensuring the code of practice is consistently applied and simplified where appropriate for varying procurement values. Mr. Chairman, the Office of Project Management and Procurement continues to evolve into a cornerstone of good governance, driving professionalism, transparency, efficiency, and how government plans and spends. To the team led by Director Elaine Blair Christopher, I extend sincere thanks for their focus, discipline, and integrity in service to Bermuda. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my presentation of Head 80, Office of Project Management and Procurement, and my overall presentation for the Ministry for the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members and indeed members of the listening public, we are in the Committee of Supply for estimates of revenue and expenditure for the budget year 2025-2026. We have been listening this morning to the budget debate, or the beginning of the budget debate, on behalf of the Ministry for the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation. We've heard from the Honorable Premier initially on Head 9, the Cabinet Office. And then we have heard from the Minister for the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation, Diala Rebane, for the remaining 5 of 6 heads. Is there any other honorable member who wishes to contribute to the debate? I see the honorable member for constituency 10, MP Robert King. You have the floor.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning.
Members of this honorable House and the listening public. First off, I want to commend the hard work of the persons who work under the cabinet, all the supporting staff for the hard work that they do to meet the needs of this community. So just, to set the table here, Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation, B38 to 75. Corporate headquarters for the civil service, providing service and advice and guidance to other departments and to the public sector. That's their role and responsibility. Department objectives on page B39, transparency and accountability, efficient and effective services to the Premier, Ministers, Cabinet, ensuring public value, ensure implementation of government reform priorities, inferred in a timely manner, enhance government safety management systems. So that's the framework on which they operate, and rightly so. I'm going to move to Head 9, B40, Cabinet Office.
Yes, that's B40 of the budget book, B40. Yep.
Correct. I note that the London office under Head 0902, Economic Policy and Foreign Affairs,
Yes.
19035, London office, $1.68 million. Actual revised 24-25, 1.390 million. Estimate 25-26, 1,456,000. Washington office 19045, 393,000. Revised 24-25, 415,000. Estimate 25-26, 462,000. Brussels office 19075, 342,000. Actual 23-24, revised 24-25, 410, and estimate 25-26, $343,000. Under the, no, just setting the table. Don't worry, I'll get to that. Under the Cabinet Office, B41, current account estimates.
Yes.
Head 9, B41, training, 17,000, 23-24 actual, revised 24-25, 143,000, estimate 25-26, 50,000. Professional services, actual 23-24, 2.204 million, revised 24-25, 2.851 million, estimate 25-26, 3.775 million.
Yes.
So regarding training, the question is, understanding that we're seeking innovation through digital technology, reliance on IT infrastructure and processes would suggest that training on the new systems would be a priority to ensure efficiencies and improve performance with a new system. On the face of it, this budget does not appear to resource this need. The budget for training has been reduced by $93,000. So the question is, how does this reduction in training budget promote and support skill acquisition on the new format, especially for the more senior members of staff? How does it also, as the minister stated earlier, seek to improve customer service? B41, professional services. These consultants who are utilized for their specific skill sets to perform the tasks that require proficiency in AT and other areas to support the minister's objectives. Specifically what? Understanding that these needs were forecast prior, what cost-benefit analysis
If I
was
may.
conducted?
Mr. Chair, just wanted information.
Will you take a bit of information, MP King?
Sure.
Yes.
If I could.
Honorable Premier,
Um,
you have the floor.
Just to go back to, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to go back to the question on training, I just want to make sure I get it correct because I heard the shadow minister say a reduction, but the budget shows an increase. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding precisely which one he's discussing.
So I think you said B41,
41.
and the revised of last year was 143,000. The estimate, at least as stated in the budget book, is 50.
Oh, so he's comparing revised, not the original.
I believe so. I'll defer to the honorable member. Honorable member, you have the floor.
I'm referring to the estimate for 25-26.
Right.
Correct. The revised of the original. Correct.
Thank you. I trust that question's clear. MP
we're
King,
good.
please, you have the floor.
B41 revenue summary, revenue source 8316, Patty, public access to information fees. What we see is an increase in salaries with no meaningful improvement in service delivery. What performance measures will be changed to ensure that customer feedback on service delivery performance will improve? Head number 9, B42, Cabinet Office, employee numbers.
Yes.
19035, London office.
Yes.
We had 3 employees, actual 23-24, revised 24-25. We had 3, estimate 25-26, 5. According to what's being documented in employee numbers, I don't see 19045 Washington, D.C. office. I also don't see 19075 Brussels office mentioned. I don't see any staff. What I do refer to is on head 9, Cabinet Office, General Summary, B400902, Economic Policy and Foreign Affairs. I see the budgets, but I don't see the staff that would be allocated.
Yes, I see. And that's B42.
That is B42, correct?
Yeah. Thank
But
you.
in terms of looking for the salaries and the staff, refer to head 9, Cabinet Office, General Summary, B400902, Economic Policy and Foreign Affairs, so you can find the section.
0902 on B40 versus B42. Yes. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you, MP.
Question. On head 9, Cabinet Office, on B40, General Summary, 0902, Economic Policy and Foreign Affairs. The Washington and Brussels office have a combined total of $825,000 recorded as expenditure. And as I've said, there are apparently no staff. If these two offices have been closed, the decision would have been made after careful consideration of the pros and cons, and as such would have taken some time and planning. But according to what's here, it doesn't seem as though they exist. So this must be a clerical error in terms of what's being recorded in the book. Well, what I'm suggesting is it's in the book. It doesn't exist. No. It does. But when you're listing the London office, why isn't Brussels and the Washington office documented there? Okay, so they got budgets, but they don't have a cost estimate. But we'll get to that. You'll be able to answer that a little bit later. Yes. So the interesting thing is that we've got a budget that was 2 months postponed so that it
Point of order.
Yes, what's your point of
Sorry,
order?
Mr. Chair. I'm not going to
Chairman.
allow this honorable member to talk foolishness on the
What's
floor.
your point of
This-
order?
On the floor. The floor is misleading the House. It
Yes.
is clear that the offices are not closed because they have budget allocation. So the member can ask his questions, but to make the pronouncement that these offices are closed on the floor of this House, where people are listening, is completely false and disrespectful to the Bermudians who are working in those offices.
Okay, thank you, Premier. MP, you have your answer in relation to that statement.
I would
So you got-
suggest that it's disrespectful to the listening public to have a budget book that doesn't accurately reflect the what is happening. That
Point
would
of
be
order, Mr.
disrespectful.
Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, what is your point of order?
The honorable member is leading the House. The budget book clearly and accurately reflects what is taking place. If the honorable member wants to ask the question, we can provide the answers. But to make assumptions and to state that these offices are closed are factual, incorrect, and he should withdraw that comment because he said on the floor of the House that these offices are closed, and that is not correct.
Honorable Member MP King.
More
please be
clarification,
guided,
sir.
but obviously you've asked a question, or you may ask. a
What
question
I'm
if you wish.
suggesting, Mr. Chairman, is that it gives the appearance that these offices don't exist or are closed because there's a budget, but they are not itemized the same way that the London office has been itemized with the specific number. That is what I'm referring to. Whether or not they exist, that's another issue entirely. It's not recorded here next to the London office.
Right, Honorable Member, I think we have the question, or I hope that those.
Well,
assisting the Premier have the
It
question.
appears that the questions it does exist, but it's not recorded as the London office has been recorded in that specific
And
section.
this is in relation to B42 of the budget book.
That is correct.
Right. Please proceed. I think the Premier's indicated he will answer that question in due course, and you have the floor.
Wonderful. Thank you. Question. Has the public sector review completed and the business unit 19080 shows discontinued? If concluded, is this going to be tabled in the House?
This is B44, Honorable Member.
That is correct.
Right, so Business Unit 19080, Head of Public Service, B44, the budget book, references to discontinued. Okay,
That is correct.
thank you. Please proceed.
B44, Head 9, Cabinet Performance Measures. Business Units 19045, Washington Office. Who is doing the job? How is this exceptional figure of 3 chosen as the target to achieve? With these targets being presented as aspirational goals, what is the target for the Casino Gaming Commission? I guess we should watch this space. Question. What does this All Bermuda Party parliamentary group look like? It's the first that I've heard of it.
We're on, just for clarification, we're on B43 and we're on Business Unit 19045, and you're referring to the establishment of the All Bermuda Parliamentary Group at the bottom of the page.
That is correct.
Yeah, thank you. Please proceed, MP.
What does the All Bermuda Party parliamentary group look like? Is the government suggesting that it form another political party? I mean, here, it's unclear what it actually is. So I'd like
Point
some,
of order,
some
Mr. Chair.
clarification
Point of
on
order.
that.
Point of order,
What
Mr.
is
Chair.
what is your point of order?
May I please ask, and I know it is not your role as you are sitting in the chair, to please ask members of your party, the opposition, to
What is-
learn this member
What
up.
is your point of order?
The man is, the honorable member
Yes.
is clearly misleading the House.
Yes.
As
Please
it has
proceed.
been stated in this House on many times, it has been stated in other places, all overseas territories have an all-party parliamentary group in the UK House of Commons, which is liaising with the London office, as other overseas territories do. For this honorable member to get up here and say we're starting a new political party is nonsense. Can you please focus on the facts instead of making conjecture? We can answer the questions. If he doesn't know what it is, rather than trying to assume and saying, is the government doing X, Y, and Z, to say, can the minister please provide clarity on that? And we will happily provide the clarity for the member, for the listening public, rather than engaging in this, in my opinion, shameless conjecture, which demeans this honorable committee.
Thank you, Premier. Honorable MP King. I think you got your answer there
I-
to the question on
I wanna
B43, but if
thank-
not,
I
please
want to
proceed.
thank the Premier and Finance Minister for giving me a clear answer on the question. So I appreciate that. And especially the delivery of that answer. That was extremely helpful, sir. Thank you for that. B44 had 9 cabinet performance measures. Business Unit 19080, Head of Public Service.
Yes.
Develop and implement an updated government reform plan. Actual outcome 50%, 23-24. Revised forecast 24-25, 100%. Target outcome 25-26, discontinued.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
I hate-
Are you inviting a point of clarification?
I need to just
Honorable
try to make
Premier, are
sure
you
that my
inviting a-
team can answer the questions if the honorable member will yield.
Is this a point of clarification?
I'm just asking.
Yes. Okay.
kind of.
One moment, please.
It's not-
MP King, are you happy to yield for a point of clarification?
Okay.
Yes. Honorable Premier, you have the floor. Okay. Thank you. MP King, the floor is yours. We're on B44, I believe.
Correct. Head 9 Cabinet Office, B40, General Summary 0903, Government Reform. We've got 19020, Safety and Health, 19040, Ministry Administration, 19055, Management Services.
And MP, forgive me just for a second. We've gone back now to B40, correct?
That is correct. Sorry
Okay.
about
Thank you.
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
proceed.
sorry about that.
Yep.
So when we're looking at the budget, if we go back to 2017-18 for health and safety and go all the way up to 24-25, we've got over $500,000. And we've got a similar sort of situation for 19040 Ministry Administration. Management Services was 591 in 17-18. So understanding that the purpose of government reform is to improve health and safety and the functioning to ensure the welfare of the persons doing the job and persons affected by it. How do we then explain that the situation at the Department of Corrections continues to pose safety and health risks to officers, and this government has known about it for more than 2 years?
Mr. Speaker.
Understanding that these audits
Mr.
have
Chairman.
taken place, which have identified
Point of
what
order.
the risk
Yes,
is.
sorry, we have a point of order. One moment,
Go.
please, MP King. Yes, what's your point of order, Minister?
The member needs to be, the member is misleading. The
Yes, okay.
debate on national security that he participated in was last week. He's asking us questions about the national security budget.
Right, MP King, you have the floor. My understanding is your questions were about B40 0903 Safety and Health and Ministry Administration but if I've misunderstood,
No,
please,
no
please-
problem, because the minister also made a statement about uniform services and the health and safety.
I see.
Corrections would be considered uniform services.
Okay, well, obviously be guided,
Absolutely
that,
not.
one moment, please, Minister, just be guided not to reflect on the debate, but you're entitled to ask questions on those topics on those pages.
So basically, this is in reference to the minister's statement, not specifically as relates to this cabinet head.
The
This-
statement in the brief is given this morning.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
please proceed.
So the question is, health and safety audits were conducted, uniform services, et cetera, and known hazards to staff and inmates have gone unaddressed despite the audit. So I would like to know what strategic plan is in place with deadlines, timelines, et cetera, and resource allocation to address those serious needs, especially understanding that there was a recent incident, I believe it was yesterday, when officers, I think it was approximately 5, were seriously injured. Head 9, Cabinet Performance Measures, B44, Business.
Member, before you move on, let me just recognize the Cabinet Secretary who is in the gallery. Thank you. Please proceed.
Business Unit 19085, Patty Pipper Unit. Performance measure, respond within 5 working days to request assistance with administrative and legal aspects of public access to information. Actual outcome 23-24, 100%. Revised forecast 24-25, 100%. Target outcome 25-26, 100%. Implementation of privacy initiatives for the government of Bermuda, 100%, 100%, 100%. Respond within 5 working days to requests for assistance with administrative and legal aspects of Personal Information Protection Act, non-available or non-applicable, 100%.
Yes, and that's in relation to B44, Business Unit 19085, Patty and Pippa Unit.
That is correct.
Thank you, MP King. Please continue.
Question, B44 Business Unit 19085, Patty Pipper Unit Performance Measures. The statement by the minister spoke to customer satisfaction service surveys. Wouldn't it be more, the question is, wouldn't it be helpful to determine if the response was productive? Were the achieved goals and aims achieved by those measures? Question B44 Business Unit 19085, Patty Pipper Unit Performance Measures. What specifically is being referred to? The inference I'm drawing is that the recently introduced fee structures and new processes are anticipated to have the impact of keeping public information private, but this cannot be the case. But it would appear to be, which is supported by a projected 90% reduction in revenue. So I'm wondering how that projection was arrived at, or that prediction was arrived at. B44 Business Unit 19085, Patty Pipper.
Yes, still there.
Unit Performance Measures. Question, understanding that there is a suspicion and or perception that charging fees and the matrix that has been formulated regarding Patty requests will dissuade members of the public from seeking the answers to questions that are in the public's interest, how will the government measure performance in this area? On one hand, Patty requests will now potentially become a source of revenue for the government, and making money is a good thing. But if the requests are not handled with the respect and transparency and the standard of accountability that is demanded of government officials and officers of the civil
Chairman.
service.
Just a moment, MP King, we have a point of order.
Point of clarification.
Point of clarification. MP King, will you stake a point of clarification? Will you yield?
Not yet.
Not yet. Sorry, Minister, he won't yield. Please continue.
On one hand, Patty requests will now potentially become a source of revenue for government making
Point of
money.
order.
It's a good thing.
One moment, please, MP. We have a point of order.
When they accepted point of clarification, point of order.
Yes, point of order. What's your point of order?
The member is anticipating debate. As he knows, we will be debating the budgets for the Privacy Information Commissioner and the other head. I can't remember the name of the other head. on the non-ministries later this afternoon. And these questions he's asking will be answered then.
So, Minister, as I see it, the business unit under discussion, 19085, is at page B44, and it's in this debate, and therefore, as long as he is not misleading the House, and if he is, you can pull him up on it, but he's entitled to ask these questions, I think. MP King, you have the floor, but please be guided by the point about not anticipating a debate which will happen later on today, but you're entitled to ask questions on B44 as you were.
Thank you for your guidance and input from the minister as well. But if the requests are not handled with respect and transparency and the standard of accountability that is demanded of government officials and officers of civil service, the reduction of PATI requests may be interrupted wrongly. So I'm asking, what measures are going to be put in place to ensure that PATI requests are given the respect and the accountability and responsibility for treating each request properly? What measures will be put in place to do that? Because as it's been stated by constituents and others in the community, and also by the information commissioner, there were some concerns that the policies and procedures that have been materially changed as relates to PATI may cause some unintended consequences to the detriment of the people of Bermuda. So the question is, what is the performance measurement matrix to ensure that PATI requests are handled ethically, legally, and professionally, understanding the competing interests of revenue and the seeking of the truth? I know this must have been extremely difficult to figure out. And for clarification, this is not a rhetorical question. We know that in the
Again,
past.
point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Just a minute.
Sure.
Yes, the MP yields. You have the floor, Minister.
As I stated, anticipating the debate, if the member had looked on pages B36, the Privacy Commissioner's Office, and B37, the performance measures that we will be debating later, the questions he asks are answered.
Okay, Minister, that's a fair point. MP King, I appreciate that this topic is over two different ministries, or more specifically between this ministry and the non-ministry debate for later out this afternoon. So I will give you some leeway.
Yeah, that's fine.
But do be guided by the answer. And I think the answer for the minister was a fair point. What? Thank you. MP King, you have the floor.
In the spirit of collaboration, absolutely. I mean, I'll have another opportunity, and this honorable House will, to revisit it if necessary. So thank you for that.
Please continue when ready, MP King.
B43 business unit, 19,000 to 19,080 performance measures.
Yes.
19,000 general administration.
That's the top of page B43. Yep.
Actual outcome 2324. 3-day turnaround of cabinet conclusions 90% of the time, 100%. Revised forecast 2425, 100%. Target outcome 2526. Question I have regarding 19,000 general administration performance measures is, what are we actually measuring? If we're saying that 90% of the time you got a 3-day turnaround, this doesn't appear to be something that we need to measure because we're achieving the targets, especially when you look at some of the other performance measures which have actually dipped. So I'm just wondering why we're measuring this, a 3-day turnaround 100% of the time within 90%. It just seems like a waste of space on the page. B43, business unit 19020, safety and health performance measures. Question: how many of the audit recommendations have been addressed? Sessions House, what's the plan to fix the health and safety problems there? When is it going to be fixed?
Please proceed.
B43 Business Unit 19020 Health and Safety and Health Performance Measures. How many of the recommendations remain outstanding? How many buildings are still offline waiting to be repaired? B43 Business Unit 19035 London Office Performance Measures. Purpose of the office roles and responsibilities. Will it be resourced according to performance and meaningful targets met? Head 9 Cabinet Office, B41, Subjective Analysis of Current Account Estimates,
Yes.
Object Code.
Yes, B41.
Yep. Subjective Analysis of Current Account Estimates, Object
Yes.
Code Description. Since being elected in 2017, excluding COVID spending, Cabinet Office spending has more than doubled, driven by 113% increase in salaries, 11% much higher than inflation, and a 250% increase in professional services. Yet the employee numbers did not fluctuate significantly. So the question I ask is, although salaries have been increased, there does not seem to be a correlation between a salary increase and a commensurate improvement in service delivery. So I'm wondering why that is and what specific measures are put in place to ensure that persons are being fairly and appropriately compensated, especially when we consider that there have been many issues that have been as yet unresolved. So I want to know what meaningful, specific, strategic plans are going to be put in place to ensure that persons are fairly compensated and are also held accountable to provide services, quality public service to the people of this community. I mean, fundamentally, what benefits did Bermuda receive materially as a result of this spending? Head 9, Cabinet Office, B41, Subjective Analysis of Current Account Estimates, Object Code Description.
Yes.
Rentals. Actual outcome 23-24, 1,093,000, revised forecast 24-25, 1.144 million, estimate 25-26, $1,135,000. Question, for a staff of 45 and expected to grow to 51, it appears disproportionate. Furthermore, wouldn't it make good economic sense to repair or renovate an existing government building or to purchase a building instead of paying high rents? But then I guess it depends on who the landlord is. How is this considered to be a good use of finances, especially when you add on the cost of electricity and other expenses? This short-term approach does not appear to be prudent, responsible use of government funds, and it is Cabinet that is the ministry whose responsibility it is to set the standard for government departments and the civil service. We in this honorable house have come to accept that it's okay to watch our House of Assembly located a stone's throw away from this rented office space as being normal. Meanwhile, you have wars raging in the Middle East, Africa, and Eastern Europe where people are having their homes destroyed by war who can do nothing about it because they are focused on staying alive. We have a choice. When we look at a historic budget surplus, two historic budget surplus, money doesn't appear to be an issue. When we have the recent cases of, for example, Savvy Entertainment, $800,000, Sands 360, $800,000, Bermudiana Beach Resort, over $100 million spent, and then breakage fee of almost $500,000, the Casino Gaming Commission, $16 million and counting. The question I have is this. Well, you know what? We've already gone past that. And then the breakage fee of almost $500,000. The question I have is this. If we have an economy that is growing, a historic surplus for the second time in history under a progressive Labor Party government, Why hasn't the Honorable Premier Minister of Finance made getting his actual house in order and lead by example? We talk about repurposing and bringing online properties that have been abandoned and not fit for habitation.
Point of order.
However,
Just
the
a moment,
words
please,
ring-
MP, pause. Yes,
Sure.
we have a point of order. What's your point of order, Minister?
I'm just trying to figure out the MP, I believe, is misleading the House.
Yes.
He's going into surpluses and rental for this building, which would come under the legislature, which would again be anticipating debate. I was just wondering what performance measures are we talking about, or what page are we speaking of with this latest rant?
So I had understood, leaving aside the word rent, I had understood that we were on B41 under rentals, under subjective analysis, but I will let the honorable MP confirm where he was.
I was just because he had mentioned rent, and he said,
Oh, rent, not
where
rent.
we are now. He said rentals, and where we are now, which would fall under the legislature and not under the cabinet office. So I'm just wondering, what are we actually talking about? Because he then talked about wars.
So MP,
It's all for context, Mr.
MP,
Chairman.
yes. I mean, obviously try to, you're entitled to make your comments.
Yeah.
They don't have to be questions as directed by the speaker, but you do need to link them to a line item. And my understanding is you were on the subject of rentals. So
Yes, the point
let's
I'm
try to
making.
keep it in
The point.
that area. Yeah.
Thank you.
You have the floor, MP.
The point that I'm making with my continued rant is that we should not continue to pay rent for properties when we have properties that need to be renovated, repurposed, when we are supposed to set the example for the civil service. How can we when we don't keep our own house in order? It makes no sense. It's disingenuous.
MP, while you are checking your notes for the benefit of honorable members and the listening public, we are in the Committee of Supply for Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure for budget year 2025-2026. And the debate this morning is on the Ministry of Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation. We've heard this morning from both the Premier and also from the Minister for the Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation, Tyler Rebane. We are now hearing questions and comments and debate from the honorable member for constituency 10, Robert King. We have about another 15 minutes or so before the lunch adjournment. MP King, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the question I have is, when are we going to fix our broken home if we want to make sure that monies for rentals of over $1 million per year is reduced? The only way we can do that is if we move into buildings that we own. Those are my submissions. Thank you. Are we going to continue on?
No, we have another 15 minutes. So would you like to continue questions for the next 15? No, we're not rising early unless anyone says otherwise. No. So please continue with further questions.
So those are my questions
for head 9.
Yeah, so I'll wait for the answers.
Well, let me just check. Honorable Premier, do you want to close out head 9 before lunch, or do you want the honorable member to put questions on all heads? I'm in your hands.
I've been informed that there are additional questions from the opposition on head 9, so we'll take them all.
Fine, no problem. Honorable Member King, if you're going to pause there on head 9, let me just see if there are any other members who wish to contribute to the debate.
Thank you.
Or you can proceed with further questions. Are there any other honorable members who wish to continue the debate? I see. No. Yes. Okay. MP, the honorable member for constituency 25, MP DeCuto, you have the floor. And as I say, we have about 15 minutes or
Yes.
thereabouts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay. Turning to page B41.
Yes.
Under revenue, the patty fees was for last year budgeted at $50,000, revised is at $50,000, and estimated to come in at $5,000. Can we understand if that revised estimate of $50,000 is simply a carryover of the budget, or have there been substantial fees actually paid? And then what is the difference between the if substantial fees were actually paid in 24-25 to get to $50,000, how do we arrive at the $5,000 estimate for the coming financial year.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Regarding the PIPA Patty unit on page B40, head number 19085, the budget does seem relatively flat. And I'm referring also to the government initiatives, as mentioned in the throne speech, on making more information publicly available to the public. Will the Patty PIPA unit be involved in advising on that? Or will that be a sort of separate group of people?
Yes.
I turn now to page B42, employee numbers, and I see the addition of 2 people in the London office. And if that was already addressed in the brief, I do apologize. but
It was addressed in the
thank
brief.
you. I will
Yeah.
skip that question.
Yeah, there was a new deputy consular officer
Thank
to
you.
assist Mr. Rent, and there was a second post identified.
Great.
Yeah.
Turning to page B43, and I'm looking at business unit 19045, the DC office.
Yes.
And the all-party parliamentary group. From the Premier's comments, I take it to understand, I'm understood to believe that actually probably applied to the London office. Could we get some description of who's in that group? And if it's a long list of people, maybe a general description of the sorts of members that are in it. We don't need the full list of individuals. Remaining on this page,
B43.
yes, page B43, the up-to-date database of Bermudian and the same business unit, the 19045 DC office, the database of Bermudian college students residing in the US. Could we be informed as to how that database is compiled and how that 50% revised estimate for 24-25 is arrived at? I believe you'd probably have to know the total number of students from Bermuda and the United States to arrive at that 50%. So would love to understand how the government arrives at that number
Yes.
and what they think it is. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Right, the direct, remaining on the same page, B43, turning now to business unit 19035.
Yes. London office.
Yes, deliver on UK policy through 7 UK government departments. Could we get a highlight of what they believe the top 2 priorities would be
Yes.
for that policy objectives? And then turning now to page B44, under the head of public service, performance measures 19080.
Yes, I see that.
Customer complaints logged and responded to within 48 hours. I do appreciate that in 23, 24, 24, 25, there seemed to be some system issue, but the revised forecast is only at 30% with a target for this year of only 50%. Could we have some commentary on why such a low target going forward? Because I would imagine a response could be as simple as a acknowledgement that we've received your request
Yes.
with a case number. Those are my questions for this head, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable member for constituency 25, MP Douglas Takuto. Does anyone else, I see someone else wants to contribute to the debate, or are we going to move for lunch? No, you're going to come? Yes, it's MP, the honorable member for constituency 12.
Thank you, Chair,
Yeah.
and to the listening Bermuda. As we go through these heads, I wanted to turn over to page B63
Yes, thank you, MP Kennedy.
under employee numbers. And the minister mentioned, Minister of, as he
Minister
mentioned.
4.
Yes.
Minister 4.
Oh, 4. Minister 4.
I
Kevin.
did actually check, and he is the only minister for. Everyone else is
yes,
minister
yes,
of.
yes,
It's yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the duties change.
There we
but,
are.
Yeah, or differ.
He's going
So-
for it.
Yeah, under item 5, unit 53050, digital services, the minister mentioned about 10 positions that were funded for, but that we still need to fill. was hoping that maybe, and I was trying to listen intently. He was reading so fast. But what exactly does a digital service person? What exactly do they do? And is this a hard to fill position? I know that sometimes within government, some of these positions are hard to fill, and that's quite a few people, 10 people positions
Yes.
that we want to fill. So, excuse me. If you could give us a more detail about what exactly is it that they do, and are they likely to come locally? Do we have to recruit overseas for this type of position? And what's the significance of this, meaning that we really need 10 people? Give us more of a significance of why we need to fill all 10 of these positions, which I'm sure we need, obviously. And then if we can turn over to B65 under training,
Yes.
business unit 53080.
Yes.
And I brought this up in talking about training.
This is still under the Department of Information and Digital
Yes,
Technologies.
yes.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No, I'm with
Head
you.
43.
B65. Yep. Head
Yeah.
43.
Just curious as to how are we systematically working through the training of all departments in relation to some of our vulnerabilities like a cyber attack. So we know that we've been trying to upgrade everyone in these different departments. I mean, just opening up the wrong email or opening up an advert or something like that. What are some of the things that we are doing to work with all of the departments and getting everyone trained up and aware, even if it's not necessarily formal training, but aware of the vulnerabilities? How are we working through that?
Yeah.
With the training? And then here we go. When it comes to system integration, which is been a thing for some time now, and the Premier has himself taken on some of this to ensure that we got upgraded and systems are integrated within the government itself. It is difficult sometimes for people when they have to go from one department to get this, and then they got to go to another department to get this, all to just make sure that they get copies of something or get qualified or verified for something. How are we coming along with system integration where we can ease some of the stress for of the work that we're doing for the public to ensure that the systems are integrated? Can we get a progress report on that? Well, not just a little bit about some of what we probably already have integrated. I mean, the Premier has spoken to some of that stuff before.
Yes.
But how are we progressing along? There was a time where there was a time where you know, the phone systems weren't even integrated. So where are we with that process and progressing there? So system integration. And the next question I would have would be is with getting advice, and we know we've had to have consultants come in and advise us and give us some direction going forward on some of the progress of integration and even security when it comes to cyber attacks.
Yes.
Are we still using any consultants to guide us through the process? I can recall I was on Front Street and I had gone to what's the restaurant up top there? Not Porter. Above Brew. What's the restaurant above Brew?
Pickled Onion.
Pickled Onion. Yeah, my favorite pasta there. I went there, and it was some guys from Google, right? Guys, huh? No, not Portico. No. Upstairs is too expensive for me, Premier. Absolutely, mate. You're welcome to come anytime. Yeah, you're welcome to come anytime. But the question I have, the question I have is, are we using any consultancy services?
This is on professional services.
Yes, on the professional services. Yes,
yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Are we using any professional services to help guide us through, not just with the integration of the process, but also with cyber potential attacks and the likes? And I brought up Google because I went there for lunch, and these Google guys were there, and they were just talking about how they were looking to help Bermuda. So I'm not sure who we're using. Maybe we're using them. I don't know. But it's a two-pronged question in that who exactly are we helping us through the process? IT is a specialized area, and it's not always where you can find the expertise just on the island. Might be able to find steal some from the international business, but
MP Kennedy, we're probably going to pause there and go to lunch. But if you only have a few left, then I'm happy to
just
let you.
one more question. Then.
Okay, we'll let you finish if that's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one more question. And over on C9,
Yes.
excuse me.
Is that grants?
No,
No,
capital
capital
estimates. Yes,
acquisitions. Yeah.
I must say I'm glad to see the investment of $6.5 million.
This is on information digital technology still.
That's correct.
Yeah.
On information digital
Well,
technology.
indeed, cabinet as a whole. Yeah, I see.
And I'm glad to see that we have this commitment. I'm sure it probably is costing us way more than that to get us to where we need to be. And so I was just curious. The minister was talking about network upgrades and he mentioned firewall enhancements and the likes. If the minister can tell us a little more about where we are with securing ourselves and how comfortable he feels that we are. I know this is a work in progress. So I get it. This is not an easy area. So it's always something to upgrade because hackers are always trying to upgrade their skill sets as well. But are we in a position now, 3 years on since the major cyber attack, are we a bit more comfortable with where we are, infrastructure-wise, technology-wise, firewall-wise, and what are some of the things that we can foresee going in the future? What are some of the plans going into the future based on where we are just today? What can the minister tell us? How we can be a bit more confident? There's no 100% proof, so it could happen. It could happen next week, whatever the case may be. So I've asked the question.
Thank you, MP Kennedy. If that's a
I've asked the
convenient,
question.
if that's a convenient,
If he can elaborate, yes.
convenient place. So thank you, MP Kennedy. Thank you also to MPs taking the kudo. Premier, if you'd like to take us to lunch.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move that the Honorable, Committee of Supply do adjourn until 2 p.m.
It has been moved that the Honorable Committee of Supply do adjourn until 2 p.m. Any objection? There being none, we move until 2 p.m.